woman.
Yes.
I am Atom Anna Dotone, and I'm sitting here with Sabine, and Sabine is a DJ.
Yes.
What does that exactly mean? Call yourself a DJ?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for inviting me here. So a DJ, well, we provide sound to a crowd of people. So that's a very broad, vague statement. But to me, being a DJ is creating an atmosphere of various genres of music, but specifically music that stems from the African diaspora, reconnecting to our roots, reconnecting to our spirit, and also healing, to see people let loose, be free in a space, and come from a club or a party or a space feeling rejuvenated and connected to one another. I feel like my role as a DJ is also one of a healer, also a conduit between spirit and people.
Okay, you say the word spirit. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Haiti, Haiti, represent, but born and raised in the Bronx.
Ah.
Yeah.
But you're now in Brooklyn.
Yeah, now I'm in Brooklyn. I had to come to Brooklyn. A lot of the arts and the people that I love and to hang out with and to work with happen to be in Brooklyn.
So, what do you do in your day job? I figure you have a day job.
Yes, I do.
Because I was wondering how a DJ survives.
Yeah,
otherwise.
it's hard sometimes, but you always could build your brand and make it work. But as I'm doing that, I work for a nonprofit called Public Allies New York, and we work with individuals between the ages of 18 and 30 and do leadership development, professional development with them. We place them in nonprofits throughout New York City that work with social justice issues. I went through, it's a 10-month apprenticeship program, so I went through it. Fully transparent that I'm a DJ. I bring my whole self to the job. And a lot of the innovation, creativity, the marketing, the branding, community engagement, all of those elements are part of my job.
Okay.
And then translated to the work that I do as a DJ.
All right, you're a woman DJ.
Yes.
How is that different in your sense of things? Or is there a difference in your mind?
Yeah, there's definitely a difference. I feel like as a female DJ, when I came into the scene, primarily the house music scene here in New York City, I came into it as a dancer. So I knew the type of sounds that I wanted to play, what would move me as a dancer and move my fellow dancers in that particular genre. And then collecting vinyl and music that I love to hear as a dancer sort of translated into me becoming a DJ as well. Because a friend of mine was like, oh, you should play some of these records out. You have a really good ear. And I was just doing it for fellow dancers, and then it became a profession once I started getting paid for it. Finding really amazing spaces in Brooklyn and other places, and saw it as a place where I could bring other dancers together and build a community, but at the same time could be a profession on the side. And in the beginning, I didn't really feel like this difference between male and female DJs, but the more that you get into the industry, they'll let you know. There's definitely a difference. Whether they'll have you always open up for other DJs, or they'll assume that you'll play more down-tempo or ambient sounds. But I love like deep house, techie house, Afro house, all of those things. And I could play as well as any major male DJ in the particular genre that I play. And I think, in certain venues I've gotten that respect, but it's always a struggle at times because they don't know how to really approach someone that has that strength, that ability in terms of talent. And it's hard for people to not pigeonhole me into another female DJ in my particular industry. I think now, I've been doing it since about 2004. I think now it's more acceptable, but I definitely had, ups and downs during this process. A lot of it, they want to sexualize you too. They want to objectify you. So there's many different things, from promoters to clubs to venues to other DJs, and those are just things that unfortunately we have to battle.
Okay. What do you think the future of what you're doing is, or where do you think it's going?
I think it's great. I think it's great because the accessibility of music now has changed. There's different formats of DJing as well, from vinyl to MP3s. But I feel like there's a resurgence sort of coming back to vinyl, to the roots of DJing. And I'm really excited about that because along with the innovations in technology and then also going back to the roots of DJing, there's some great creativity there. And I feel like a lot of DJs now are being more flexible, but at the same time being more creative within that. I think for female DJs, I've seen a lot of us form coalitions or groups or have opportunities to travel and produce. I think as a DJ, you know, the next level for most of us would be to own our own company or become emerging producers and make the tracks that we're actually playing out. And even looking at some of the software and the technology around that is more accessible, and we could reach bigger audiences and masses of people through social media and live streaming and things of that nature. So I think it's a bright future in terms of DJing.
Do you see, because I ran into a DJ, I think Tina, recently, and she said, I'm going to Ibiza to do an event. And I was like, I never thought about DJs out of Brooklyn or Manhattan traveling that far. It was just sort of like,
yeah,
okay. And I said to her, how do you get booked for stuff like that? And she says, well, someone that knows someone is having a party. And then she said, another thing she said to me is, I decided I wanted to do events overseas, so I organized an event overseas. And I'm going to bring 3 or 4 DJs with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, control. Decision making.
Yes. Ownership.
Ownership of what it is you do.
And you're also building a community as well. Like as you do more of this music, it could be in multiple genres, not just house music. You know, as you get deeper into your craft, you meet other like-minded folks, and you build connections, you network. So a lot of these overseas gigs, of course, not only by the testament of the great music that you play or the skill that you have, but it's also your personality. Because if you could be the most talented DJ, but if you don't give off positive energy, like no one really wants to book you. So it's definitely the connections you make with people. And then also, if you're bringing something new to the table and you're bringing your culture from Brooklyn or from the Bronx, people want to see that. We live in a global society, so, and if you're also able to infuse like your roots and your culture, you're bringing something new to the table. So, you know, it's interesting. Sometimes when I do particular gigs, I feel like there's more of an openness and there's more acceptance and sometimes more support and love when they know you're coming from Brooklyn or coming from New York, as opposed to, you know, you get love here as well. But I definitely feel that more sometimes when I go to like Montreal or other places. And I also feel like vice versa. If there's like DJs or producers that I really love, like from South Africa or other places, you know, and to see them rock in your own city is really exciting. But, you know, some people go the more traditional route. They'll have a booking agent or a manager that is responsible for getting them gigs overseas or wherever, and you have to give them a percentage and things like that. But I'm seeing more of a trend of people really wearing many hats. So you're not only just a DJ and you play out. Like you are, you know, the marketing director, brand manager, booking agent, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. Let me ask another question, because this came up in most industries. Is there an association of some type?
There's various associations. It depends on if you're a producer as well. You know, there's some around publishing your music.
But not a DJ association.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I'm sure there are out there, but I see more coalitions, like
Okay.
ways that we've come together, whether it's specific interests
Mm-hmm.
or a genre, or just seeing coalitions of different DJs. But I'm not too sure if there's like a DJ association. Maybe that's something we should.
Well, I mean, because I think for the music industry in general,
Mm-hmm.
its disappearance and its re-emergence has to do with an industry that has an association.
Right.
Okay, and the association, to a certain degree, helps shore it up in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, it's independent spirits working at different things, but I think somehow there might be a community
Mm-hmm.
that becomes an association, so that if somebody goes through something, there's somebody to call
Sure.
on.
I would see that more so in terms of freelancing,
Okay.
because we do a lot of that,
Okay.
and just seeing if there's viable, like, unionization, whether it's like healthcare and benefits and other things. There's ways that we've been really creative as artists, as DJs, where we could fall into some of those categories. But again, it depends on what professional level you're doing DJing or producing or music in general.
So if I have a 15-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
what advice would you give about how to start and what to do and where to go?
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're 15 years old, definitely having a mentor that you serve under or apprentice under. And it could be as informal as a DJ that someone recommended you to, whether it's a family member or a community DJ. Or it could be more formalized where you go to DJ school. So that has become more of a trend. There's Scratch Academy, there's DubSpot, there's many various DJ schools, not only for adults, but they have kids programs. I was a teacher assistant for a kids program at the DubSpot. So it's interesting to see these young kids, because they're really, really into it, and they bring that energy. So really, even at that young age, identifying what your brand is, like who you are, like what are you bringing to this DJ world that's unique and speaks for yourself. Whether it's choosing a name, identifying like what's your niche, what's your genre, are you mixing, bending genres, like that's your thing. Really knowing the craft and starting with vinyl. Nowadays, a lot of platforms for DJing are very digital. Some people may not even know what vinyl is, may not be able to touch a record. So just starting from there, and then, just being well versed in all forms of DJing.
So the last question is, DJ Sabine, why did you choose house?
Well, house is just, it was a part of me. As soon as I heard house, as like, other genres of music has an importance to me. I actually started more so with hip-hop, of course, being from the Bronx. I was a B-girl as well, and definitely before DJing, I was in the dance scene. But there was an era like in the late 90s, early 2000s where both hip-hop and house lived in the same space, right? So it wasn't rare for me to like love both genres, right? But the thing about house for me is that I'm able to also hear the polyrhythmic sounds that for me were very important and innate to like what drew me to the spiritual aspects of music, right? Whether it's reconnecting with my African ancestry, Haitian ancestry. Another thing about the beauty of house music is that you could bring in various elements, whether it's poetry, whether it's song, whether it's various beats. So because it's so open in terms of like a canvas musically, and just with my own like talent sensibilities, it just made sense. Okay. Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us at Woman to Woman.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Yes, thank you.